Hey everyone, and welcome back to the step-by-step series where we create a positioning, a point of difference for your business, and ultimately create a marketing plan to make sure your business succeeds in 2025. So today we're going to continue on with step 6, where we talk about how you can differentiate based on your product or service offering. Now, as always, I'm going to refer to our book, Small Business Marketing Decluttered, as we go through the key points that we cover in that book as well to make sure that we don't miss anything for you. So in regards to product or service offering, why is this important when it comes to positioning your business and your brand in the minds of your customers that is different to the competition? Now, if you've listened to us plenty, you know that positioning, and again, to define that for new listeners, positioning is all about positioning your business and your brand in the minds of your customers that is different to the competition. We live in such an over-communicated and cluttered world, and we want to make sure that as a small business with time, money, energy, and skills being a limited resource for you, that you have the ability to cut through to your customers and clients, and the best way to do that is to position your business and your brand differently to the competition, or where there is the least amount of competition. So in this step-by-step process to create that, as I said, step 6 is all about product and service offering. So why is that important? So with product or service offering, you can certainly differentiate based on what you actually provide to your clients. So let's talk about 3 key areas in relation to product or service offering. Now, before we do that, in step 4, I want you to, if you haven't listened to step 4, I want you to go back a few episodes and have a listen to it. So we spoke about understanding the competition so that you can start to think about how your product or service offering can be different to them, or have a focus, or have more of a focus than they do. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to step 4, which should be kind of two episodes ago. So in this step, the first consideration I want you to do, or the first step I want you to think about, is I want you to sit down and take some time, and I want you to write down in the first column, so let's just call it My Business as the first column. In the My Business column, I want you to write down all the specific services or products that you provide to your clients and customers. And I want you to be as literal and as practical and specific as possible. Now, the reason I want you to do that will make more sense when I talk about the next point. So be really specific. So let's use an example. Imagine you are a painting company. So what is the service that you provide? So maybe you do painting maintenance. Maybe you do outside of homes, inside of homes, inside of apartments, the outside of a granny flat, the inside of a granny flat, apartment buildings, strata buildings. Like maybe you do everything. So I want you to be really literal and write down all of those specific things that you do for your clients and what they actually pay you to do for them. So I know that sounds kind of really obvious, but it's about making sure that you take the time, and because as a business owner, you generally don't have the time to sit back and think about your business, think about what you actually do. And for businesses that have been around for a long time, you can often be caught up and you start to deliver on things that when you first started your business, you didn't deliver, but now you're delivering because of a customer need, and you've kind of fallen into that trap. Maybe it's not as profitable as it used to be. Maybe you're just doing it because one big client asked you to do it, but you hate doing it and it kind of screws up your operations. So I want you to take this time and don't rush it. Just spend half an hour and just write down all the specific things that you do as a service or product offering. Again, so be really literal. Now that you've done that, I want you to now create a new column and call it the service product offering of your competition. Now, you might have touched on this a little bit in step 4, but let's do it again now in step 6. So I want you to think about and write down the specific product or services that your competition provide. Now, your competition could be really broad, so think of the competition as those that are most similar to you in terms of size, in terms of scale, in terms of year of being in business, in terms of same type of clientele, same type of location. So all those kind of common traits, I want you to think about those people as your competitors. I don't want you to go through the Google and look for every painting company in Australia. I want you to think about those that you think would actually compete directly with you. Again, whether that's product or service related. So go through those, and again, this might take you half an hour, and write down all the product or service offerings that they provide as well. Now, again, why is talking about the competition so important? So I'm going to pull a quote from my book. So it's a quote from one of the founding fathers of positioning, Jack Trout. He says in his book, Repositioning, unless you have a wonderful new invention or you've stumbled into a monopoly, chances are you'll have some killer competitors who are trying to take your business. Now, in the example that I use, absolutely, there would be so many competitors. Now, not every business would have that many competitors, but most businesses, let's be honest, would have some type of competition. So it's so important that you are positioning your business and your brand that is different to them. And when I talk about competition, I'm not talking about kind of every decision that you make as a business, you should be thinking about the competition, but at least when you're thinking about how you're going to differentiate to them, you need to consider the competition. And that's why that second column is so important. Now that you've kind of filled out those two columns, why is that important? You're going to start to see, hopefully, some opportunities where you can look at how you can be different to them. Now, before we go on to the final consideration in terms of your product and service offering, I can see there's lots of people watching our videos and listening to our podcast. So I want to remind everyone how we work with small business clients across Australia. So really there's two key ways in terms of how we work and help with our clients. So the first is about consulting with our clients and executing on their marketing work. So that's the first thing. So we're doing the work with you and for you. So that's the first bit. Obviously, that's a high investment entry point because we're doing all the work. It's all our IP. It's all of our knowledge. And that's how most small business clients work with us. So it's actually doing the work for them and consulting with them. Now, the second way that we work with our clients, and we introduced this last year, is a DIY course. So what does that actually mean? So when we work with our clients, we work with them to create that positioning, which is what we're talking about today. Then we work with them to create a 12-month marketing plan that's going to be targeted. And then the third step that we take is we actually consult and execute on that plan. Now, in the course that we provide, you are able to create, we provide a step-by-step process and videos and questionnaires for you to create that positioning yourself and for you to then create that 12-month marketing plan. So as I mentioned, we can work with you to consult and execute on all the work, or you can do a course where you do it all yourself. The key is creating that positioning, creating that marketing plan, and executing on it. So you need to think about what would suit you best. Do you want to consult and execute with little marketing? As I mentioned, that investment is a lot higher, whereas the course, the entry level, is much lower. It's a one-off investment of $6.99. You can go on to our website and enroll in the course today, or if you want us to consult and execute with you and work with you on an ongoing basis and consult with you to make sure what we're doing is working and the work that you're supposed to be doing is working as well, then we work with you as well. So they're the two ways that we work with our clients. So let's get on to part 3 of the way to differentiate based on your product or service offering. Now remember, every brand can only have one meaning. So it's thinking about what meaning does your brand have in the minds of your customers that is different to the competition. And that's the magic in marketing. There's no magic pill, but the magic is finding that positioning and positioning your business and your brand. And I know I harp on about it, but it's positioning your business and your brand in the minds of your customers that is different to the competition or where there's the least amount of competition. So now we're in the third column. I want you to look at the first two columns and think about how we can really focus in on a particular offering, be that product or service, depending on your business, that you can focus in and be the absolute expert in. I know we talk a lot about positioning ourselves as leaders, as experts. Remember, customers and clients out there in the marketplace only want to deal with leaders in their field, so we want to position you as a leader in what you do. So if you take some time, you're going to start to see how you've kind of positioned yourself differently by focusing on a particular offering. And then, as we've spoken about in previous episodes, you can also focus in on a particular location or a particular type of audience. So before you know it, you're really differentiating at different levels to really focus in on an offering, on an audience, and a location, which really helps you to stand out from the competition and position yourself differently. And I know what you're thinking, like a lot of small business owners, you're saying, oh, well, I'm really narrowing my focus in terms of location or audience or service offering or all of them, and I'm limiting my offering. Let me tell you, By narrowing your focus allows you to be an expert and allows you to compete with less people. Competition is your biggest battle. Marketing is a battle of the mind, and we want to make it easy for people to understand what you do and why you're different, and for you to be able to cut through with a really simple message. Remember, time, money, energy, and skills are a limited resource, so every opportunity that you have to tell people what you do specifically and why you're different, we want to take that opportunity. Versus if you're doing everything for everybody, how the hell can you cut through? Our cluttered world, social media, billboards, radio, Spotify, emails, like you name it. We live in the most over-communicated society we've ever been in. So it means your message and what you do and why you're different needs to be so simple for you to be able to cut through. So if we recap on those 3 steps in terms of product or service offering, column 1, write down everything that you do, be as literal and as specific as possible. 2, write down everything that the competition do. And again, go back to step 4 a couple of episodes ago to understand why understand the competition is so important. And 3, once you've done that, then it's thinking about, right, this is what we do, this is what the competition do. What can we do that really focuses in on a particular service offering? Again, hope you got lots out of today. A reminder, 2 ways you can work with us. We can consult and execute and work with you on an ongoing basis, or you can enroll in our DIY course at littlemarketing.com.au. $6.99. Enroll allows you to create a point of difference, create a marketing plan, and get your marketing heading in the right direction. So again, thanks everyone. Make sure, as always, you're liking and sharing this podcast. Again, we're starting to see the numbers grow, which is awesome, not just in Australia, but we're starting to see some traction in the US as well. Everything that we teach is not just Australia-based, it's global. Positioning doesn't care what country you're in. Marketing is marketing and positioning is positioning. So thanks everyone. And again, we'll see you back next week. As always, we're doing lots of shorts on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, so feel free to jump on and listen to those. Thanks everyone. Have a great week.
Please note that all the information provided on this podcast is general in nature and is not intended to be specific advice to your individual situation. Please be sure to engage a professional for a customized approach to your business and personal circumstances.